Welcome to the Bleeding Blue podcast. I'm Phil. He's Dave. Sometimes we will be joined by Alex, but he's not with us tonight. And we will be recapping weekly Dodger games. Well, each game, each day. Fun discussions about the Dodgers, their highs, their lows, all of it. And so we're excited to get this thing started. Thank you for listening. Try to spread the word. Let's just hop in. Let's get started. Thursday's game against the Padres beat the Dodgers 3-2. Trinan got charged with the loss. Nabel Krismat, it was the first time I've ever heard of him. Cause
I like the
never
name.
heard of him.
Nabel's a good name. Krismat
Right.
also.
And then
Good
we
combo.
got Mr. Mark Woodpecker Melanson beating the Dodgers as he usually does.
Is that his actual nickname?
He looks like a woodpecker.
Oh, is that your nickname or is that like an actual name?
No, that's like my nickname for him.
Oh, I thought it was like. It looks
He
so
literally
official.
looks like I would expect him to just go up to someone and just start like pecking. He looks like
I
a
do
woodpecker.
see that call. Yeah.
Right. So Buehler was pretty good. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, including a Grisham solo home run. And we got Ryan Weathers on the mound for the Padres that game. Interesting about Ryan Weathers, he debuted against the Dodgers in Game 1 of the NLDS last year.
I remember that. Yes.
Because they tried pitching Clevenger after his injury, and Clevenger got hurt. Whatever, the Padre way, they like rushing guys back from injuries.
He pitched well, didn't he? In that game?
Yeah. So in that game, I don't remember. He pitched 1.1 innings, no hits. I think he walked a couple guys, struck out a couple.
Yeah.
But career versus the Dodgers, including his debut in the postseason, he's 10.2 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, and 10 Ks. So I don't know what's with him.
Yeah.
Rookie, he's pretty good.
He has their number.
Career stats wise, I'm pretty sure his ERA is under 2, so he's pretty solid as far as the Padres go.
Yeah, but Buehler also interesting. 9 Ks. Even now if he gives up 4 hits, doesn't matter. He always has a very big pile of strikeouts. Probably be one of the leading strikeout leaders at the end of the year. But
Right. Also with Buehler, like earlier in the year, his velocity was a problem. He's like after his first start, he wasn't happy with his velo, and this game, whatever, was better. And his stuff's good enough with the velocity. It's the same with May also, that they don't need to rely on like that amazing strikeout pitch. If they make a mistake, then it's not always hittable because they have a lot of good stuff.
Because of the velo, but like sometimes it hits bad. It's bad for the exit velocity then jumps up. So I don't know.
Speaking of jumping up, the noise jumped up. No, that's a really lame transition, but Sheldon Noisy.
I call him Muse. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
With his first career home run, after a Pollock home run, they went back to back, and what for? To lose.
Yeah, but it was fine.
Sheldon Noisy. How did anybody get Noisy? Neuse. Noisy.
Is it noisy? Is it what is it? Noisy?
It's Noisy.
It is noisy.
Sheldon Noisy.
I don't know. I think it's news.
Like
I'm telling you.
Yeah, whatever. Fine, moving on. So Friday, the Padres beat the Dodgers. Surprise. 6-1 after the way the Dodgers are playing. It's a good game.
Yep. All right, our nemesis.
Not for the Dodgers.
Our nemesis, Yu Darvish and Machado.
Darvish, Mr. Tip his pitches.
Yeah.
Darvish.
Yu Darvish and Manny Machado teamed up in the Padres to get us like the villainous team in MLB.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, booing... This is actually interesting, because you can't just boo Yu Darvish, because he was getting, like, death threats and stuff, and, like, he didn't want to send his kids to school in LA because of tipping pitches in the World Series.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to the cheating Astros. But Machado, like, they genuinely don't like him, Dodgers fans. I don't like him.
I did not like him,
He sucked with the Dodgers.
I usually like everyone on the Dodgers, but he just, like, gave up a very bad vibe to me and didn't really try. Did not like at all.
Yeah, like, I heard someone say, people boo Machado because they don't like him, but they boo Tatis out of respect. Because he's a good player, so you boo the other team's good player.
Exactly. Tatis is very good. Machado was just nasty overall.
All right.
Well, Machado, if you're listening, I'm happy that you're listening. But
if you're listening, which you're not listening because we probably don't have any listeners, brand new podcast, you should pay that dude $300 million for that check that you promised him.
Who?
You didn't hear about this?
No.
Basically, there's a game 2 years ago. Machado's first year after he left the Dodgers, went to the Padres, and he was in the on-deck circle, and some Dodger fan was heckling him, and was like, "Oh, you should have stayed. We could have won like 10 World Series with you, 5 World Series, whatever." He said. Machado turned around and was like, I bet you my contract that the Padres won a World Series before the Dodgers. No, and behold, the Dodgers did win the World Series last year.
And he got a good contract, so.
Yeah, so gotta find that guy.
Well, it's good. Everything worked out. Then he got Mookie Betts, the nicest guy in the world, on our team instead of Machado. So
nicest guy in the world. He can't hit since his injury. He's really been bad.
We'll get to that later.
Really been bad. Yeah.
Don't jump the gun.
That's going to be in our highs and lows segment, where there's a lot more lows than highs this week.
This week, yeah, unfortunately.
Hopefully that can change.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
Saturday.
So Saturday's game, the Dodgers did beat the Padres. That was a Bauer game. Bauer's been phenomenal with the Dodgers.
And that had a little bit of a fireworks over there with Tatis homering off Bauer.
Twice.
And both of them doing some interesting gimmicks. One time he closed his eye
because he more like covered his eye.
Covered his eye.
Whatever.
Sorry. To show that like just how Bauer was like showing how good he was, that he could pitch with one eye closed in the spring training, because he wanted to show, I don't know, some sort of comeback at him. I don't know.
But then the second home run, that was the controversial one. He looked behind. Bauer said he didn't think it was to see the sign of the pitch. It was more to see location of where Smith was setting up. And because it was like a half a foot outside or something.
Which I'm not really like a big opponent of, because there's no rules that you can't look at the catcher, right?
Well, that brings up the whole discussion of an unwritten rule of baseball. So Bauer said he had a problem with. He didn't have a problem with the celebrations. He thinks that's good for baseball. If you're a competitor, you're competing against each other.
I love celebrations.
It's hard to hit in the big leagues. This is what he said. And if you could beat your opponent, then celebrate it. Why not?
Exactly.
He's all for it. But he wasn't cool with this, looking back, because it's supposed to be your best against the other guy's best. And if you know where the location is or whatever, where the pitch is, what pitch is coming, then it's not your best against his best.
Houston Astros. Okay, moving on. Yes.
Yeah, Houston Astros, bing. Yeah, so.
Well, Jansen finally got a save for one of the first times in his life.
Well, this was also after the Mariners series, right? And he looked really good in that. That was a game where he just pitched, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jansen 4-out save. He didn't look phenomenal starting out this game in the save. He came in with 2 outs in the 8th, and his stuff wasn't sharp. His velo was down. But who was the last out? It was Grisham. Grisham was the last out, and
your nemesis.
As he was getting, he annoys me the most on the Padres.
I don't know. I think
he's such
Machado.
a punchable face.
Machado annoys me the
most.
Grisham
with his jaw sticking out.
This is definitely not a podcast for Padres fans. So if you're a Padres fan,
hardcore
no
Dodgers, Padre hating,
Yeah, I mean, the title says Bleeding Blue, but if you get the hint, now you do.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jansen, as his save opportunity went on, he was getting a lot sharper. He ended with a really nice pitch to Grisham. He had a really nice pitch to Cronenworth. No, it was still Grisham. Earlier in that bat with a 93 mile.
Well, yeah, he looked good that night, but then changed a little bit later in the week, as we'll discuss in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, Sunday's marathon game, 11 innings.
Oh, hold on, another keynote from that game. Yeah, sorry about that. Another keynote from that game. The Dodgers lead the league, not good, in stolen bases allowed, by the way.
Yeah, Will Smith.
And 5 stolen bases. Jake Cronenworth had 3 of them, I believe.
Myers had 3.
Myers had 3? Oh, yeah, Myers had 3. Yeah, Cronenworth and Myers double stole against Jansen. Jansen, slow delivery.
Yeah, slow delivery.
Big leg kick.
He doesn't like getting distracted, He does a tough enough job trying to save out the game. Doesn't have to worry about his runners.
Yeah.
Anyways, Sunday's game was 8-7 Padres. You would think it was like a big blowout. It was a big high hitting game, but it actually wasn't.
Before we discuss this,
yes,
just prepare for this game to be hated upon, because this was ridiculous.
Yeah,
this whole series was ridiculous, pretty much, right?
This just reminds me of when the Dodgers had that lead against the Astros.
Astros.
In game, fine, against the Cheaters in game 4, 5, game 4, 5.
4. Alex Wood pitch.
Yeah, 5. Right. That gave me such anxiety just watching them rolling leads after leads, and this one was similar,
Yeah.
So So Tim Hill, good name.
Tim Hill, he's the guy that pitches from his feet. No, he doesn't actually. It's more like the guy on the Giants, Rogers.
Yeah.
He pitches like from the ground.
Yeah.
No, but Hill's a sidearm lefty.
One of the submariners. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So May pitched. He actually pitched very well. He only had one.
May
run.
was phenomenal.
Yeah, 2 hits, just a Tatis.
It was a mistake to Tatis. Tatis mistaked it.
Yep.
He hit it.
10 strikeouts, but of course the bullpen, which has been a really big problem for the Dodgers the entire season, blew a 7-1 lead, which is insane. I think I actually saw an interesting stat, which said that after a team had been down by 6 runs after the 7th inning, they were 112,344, which means that they 1 out of 1,200% chance that they would win the game if they're down by 6 runs after the 7th inning.
In other words, they stunk.
And it was our lucky day. We got to see that happen.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And Musgrove, who's had a phenomenal year, he threw a no-hitter earlier this year. He only threw 77 pitches.
Threw a no-hitter.
Yeah, he threw a no-hitter this year. No, it's the Padres. Okay, nobody talks about it, but it's actually interesting. It's cool that he threw a no-hitter for the Padres because he grew up like a Padres fan. Surprise! Nobody grows up a Padres fan.
Mm-hmm.
But he grew up a Padres fan. Threw a no-hitter for them. First no-hitter in history for the Padres because they don't really do anything ever in history.
And this was the most infuriating thing though of the game was the fact that they left the bases loaded 3 times.
Right, 3 innings in a row, I believe, if I'm right.
Right, it's not like the Dodgers haven't been getting the production from the offense they have. They just haven't been able to cash in with the runners in scoring position. They've been having like less than a 200 batting average with runners in scoring position this season, which is really, really bad.
Right, but they didn't necessarily get to Musgrove early. They didn't produce, I think they had 2 runs off him early, but they did force his pitch count up. They worked the count. They had a lot of 3-2 counts. Muncy walked 4 times, I think.
Yeah.
He walked 4 times. Betts was not good this game. He was 1 for 7.
1 for 7, yeah. I saw that. He did not like that.
Not great.
No, he hasn't been a little bit off this whole week after.
Well, we're gonna
Okay,
much.
Moving on to Monday, which I was
Monday, the Red Series.
Yeah, I was.
So overall, not a good series.
I was lucky enough to be at that game, the Monday game, which was 5-3 from the Reds, which actually was a very good game. I liked how Dodgers were playing.
Tihei Antone with the win.
Yes.
Tihei Antone.
Tihei, that's how you pronounce that.
That's a great name. That is phenomenal.
And Antone or Antoni?
Antone, I believe.
Antone. Yeah, the loss.
He's a cool beard also.
The loss was Jansen. Tell me if you heard this.
Surprise.
Before. Jansen blowing a game.
Yeah. Kenley,
yeah.
so that would put him at 5 for 7 save situations. That was not okay.
Not good. Yeah, Arias was pitching, had a no-hitter for 3 innings, and then he just gave up a bunch of runs, a bunch of hits that just really got to him in that inning, in like the 4th or 5th inning. Seager had a very clutch moment. 7th inning, hit a 2-run shot to tie up the game.
Which is encouraging from Seager because he also has been in a little bit of a slump.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He's still the best, like,
of course.
Not the best. He's just the best in general, you know?
Now, moving on to the man of this, like, full month, I think.
The man of the season.
Man of the month.
By the way, speaking of Jesse Winker, we actually aren't speaking. We were about to speak of him.
Yes.
Speaking of Jesse Winker, besides his go-ahead 2-run home run in the 10th off Jansen.
What?
Surprise. Which is actually not a bad pitch. It was a corner high and outside fastball.
Really tell. I was, yeah.
Yeah, well, on TV. And it was, he hit it good. And speaking of Winker, I saw some crazy stat. I believe he's only behind through a certain amount of games or like until a certain age, maybe like age 24 or something. He's really young. He has the 3rd highest OPS beside for Ronald Acuna Jr., I believe, was one of them. No, sorry, it was Juan Soto, I think. And guess the other one, Mike Trout.
Well,
that dude's good at baseball.
Quick trivia lesson. If anyone asks you a trivia baseball and you say something like amazing of it, it's probably Mike Trout.
It's probably Jesse Winker.
No, maybe in a couple years.
He's hitting like 380 something this year.
He's been amazing, yeah.
Pretty good. He also has a cool beard. The Reds have pretty cool beards.
Yeah, the Reds, I like them. They like their uniforms, very nice red uniforms. Very counterintuitive, but I like their uniforms.
Yeah, I love their red Reds uniform.
Yes, exactly.
And surprise, the Dodgers left the bases loaded again, and we're gonna get to their runners in scoring position batting woes because that is a big issue. A lot of people, I saw someone put up a poll. It might have been Dodger Nation. I think they put up a poll where they asked like, what are you most concerned about? Starting pitching, like hitting, I don't know, bullpen or runners in scoring position, and runners in scoring position did beat out bullpen. And Honestly, it's the bullpen's hurt. Like they lost Knable. I don't know how you say it. Knable.
Okay.
And it's mostly been their low end of the bullpen. Like Santana, Gratterall's not really up to speed yet from his injury. He has like a 20.6 ERA.
Right.
Yeah. So it's Santana, those guys. Jimmy Nelson, who had a phenomenal spring training, looked really good. Dodgers 7 started. And yeah, sort of flushed that thing down the toilet pretty fast. Yeah, that's pretty much that game. That wasn't a fun game either. Also, after the Padres game, where they lost 8-7, like losing 5-3 to the Reds was just like we're seeing the movie over again.
Yeah, just like once you get in that downward spiral, it just keeps going and going and going.
Right, that's what this week felt
really,
like.
really hard to pull out of it.
These 7 games, that's what they felt like.
Like they felt like they were untouchable in the beginning of the season. I was like, can anyone beat the Dodgers? And then apparently they can. They can be beat. So Tuesday's game.
Yeah, Tuesday's
game. Another blown lead that we had. We had
Shocker.
2 leads. We had a 3-1 lead, and we had a 5-3 lead. I think we had, and a 3-1 lead.
You're supposed to remember you were at that game also.
Yeah, I know. It kept losing, so like I was just getting depressed. But Buehler pitched okay. He had 3 runs over 6 innings, which wasn't too bad.
Buehler.
4.
I think he was charged for 5 runs actually.
How was he charged for? Oh yeah, because Alexander gave up the earned run.
Right. Well, Buehler, from what I saw, I wasn't watching his whole outing. He was really good like the first 4 innings, besides the Winker leadoff home run. Jesse Winker,
of course, Jesse Winker always gets in the Dodgers.
If you can't see us, which you can't because this isn't video, I'm winking. Okay. Sorry for that little part.
That's your excuse.
Jesse Winker. Gotta wink at that beard. And yeah, so the Dodgers hitting 4 hits. Solid. And Will Smith, though, who was also in a slump. Will Smith is one of those players, he just hits the ball hard or strikes out, pretty much. And it was promising to see, like, it went over the fence. It was a 3-run home run.
Yeah, but I think a big problem with the game was at the end, there was really some bad calls by the umpires. Muncy had, like, a check swing that I thought clearly was on a swing. And then there was another pitch on News. Or maybe it was Rayleigh at the end of the game. News.
Noisy.
Noisy.
Quite noisy.
But it was Rayleigh. Okay, it was Rayleigh, and it was really outside, and the guy called it out.
Meows. What a dumb pronunciation of the name. Like,
yes.
Noisy.
But yes, the umpire was really bad, and I'm starting to think
that wasn't the Angel Hernandez game, right? Yeah, it was.
I think it was.
It was the Angel Hernandez game.
Right.
We got Angel Hernandez trending on Twitter like 3 innings in, and I saw some guy at NBC Sports who covers the Dodgers tweeted out if we're gonna play the shot game for Angel Hernandez. Every time he blows a call, we're gonna take a shot. So by what inning do you think you're gonna be drunk?
First.
Right. So warm ups.
Yeah.
Angel Hernandez. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm gonna actually start like thinking of automated refs now, automated umpires, because this is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Because
it ruins everything. I mean, people are for sure say that no, because it keeps the tradition of the game alive. But still, it's
right. Mistakes are a part of the game.
It is part of the game. So that's really the big deal. Is it tradition or is it
Hugh Galarraga?
Or is it effectiveness? Yes, that's
that was the worst ever.
That was terrible.
Galarraga's perfect game.
Yep.
Speaking of that, just a little off topic, but it's funny. That play with the Brewers, you saw that? Where they were playing, I forgot who they were playing. Either way, some guy on the other team hit a dribbler and threw it to the first baseman. And first baseman stepped on first. They ended up calling the runner safe. And it was, like, not even close, the play. They ended up calling the runner safe because they said the pitcher got in the way of the runner, interfered with the runner. But the dumb thing about it was he interfered. You really got to see it to whatever, get it? The dumb thing about it was that the pitcher only hit the runner. The pitcher was fielding the ball in the way it wasn't even in the baseline. The runner had to go out of the runner was out of the baseline, and that's why he collided with the pitcher. And it was after the guy stepped on first, so it didn't even affect the play, really. And they called the guy safe. And Craig Counsell came out, got his money's worth. It's like, what's going on?
You get ejected?
I'm not sure.
Not a lot of
Rightfully so. It was a really dumb call.
Not a lot of ejections this year, but some people also say that they like umpires to get ejections, which spices up the game.
Right. Like Aaron Boone's ejection.
Yep.
All of his ejections.
Yeah. Well, a rule I don't like that they're trying to change is the runner in second extra innings, which I think is really stupid because it's the only point of it is trying to speed up the game. But if you have a team that's really bad with runners in scoring position like the Dodgers, it helps the other team way more than it helps the Dodgers.
Right. So I have a couple thoughts on this. Right, because I'm sort of undecided. Because if you're the home team, it gives you a disadvantage if you don't give up any runs. So it's a tie game. Let's say it's the 10th inning. You're going to the bottom of the 10th. It's a tie game. You start with a man on second. So why wouldn't the other team, that man on second's the winning run? So why wouldn't the other team walk the first guy to get a double play situation? And they never seem to do that.
Yeah. Also, you don't see a lot of bunting to get the guy over to third base to have a setup sacrifice fly, or even like a wild pitch, which is great.
Statistically, bunts are bad because he gives up an out. Except if you're starting out with a man on second, a wild pitch. If you successfully bunt, a wild pitch.
Ground out.
Infield in, but either way.
Anything in play, you usually could get him in.
Right.
But it's infield in, and it happened actually in the Reds game.
But infield in, I forgot whoever said it. Like infield in, it takes a 100 hitter, makes him a 200 hitter, takes a 300 hitter, makes him a 400 hitter. Like.
Yeah, it's what happened in the Reds game.
Yeah.
It was like an infield in situation, and they hit a 2-run single because of it.
Was it Beatty?
It was Beatty, yeah.
Matt Beatty.
Yeah. Haven't heard a lot
nerd of the team. I don't know if he's actually a nerd, but he seems like a nerd. Like, according to my calculations.
Well, he doesn't really look
the infield is in, so I will now become a better hitter.
No, I don't think so, because he's kind of bald, and nerds aren't really bald that often.
He has the glasses.
Yeah, the glasses.
Never forget the glasses.
Yeah, he's trying to... Yeah.
It's like Matt Beatty's the alter ego of Kike Hernandez. Kike Hernandez is like this cool banana suit dude in the dugout.
Yeah, I guess.
He's now a Red Sox, by the way.
I guess so.
And Matt Beatty's just the bald Beatty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so moving on.
Wednesday.
By the way. Wednesday.
Finally,
yeah,
Dodgers
we were in school for this game. Finally. No shock, by the way, guys, if you don't know us. Which you probably do if you're listening to this podcast.
Yes, exactly.
We're in high school.
So they finally got a win, right?
Woo! We like wins.
Yeah, I know.
After dropping 7 out of 9.
And instead of deciding to get a bunch of wins in the week by close games, they decided to just have all the runs and all their pitching well on one day.
Right.
To be nice.
And count on Kershaw to get the win. Like Kershaw throughout his career, if the Dodgers have had skids, which hasn't been much of his career, but it's been a bunch.
Mr.
He's the guy
Reliable.
that stops those skids.
Well, but only the regular season, of course.
That's it. Postseason's like...
It's different game.
It's different.
Yeah.
Hey, this year, Kershaw didn't really suck.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good.
But actually, it wasn't such a blowout game. It was only 2-0 until the 8th inning.
Right. Well, Sonny Gray pitched phenomenal. That's like keynote. Credit to Sonny Gray. I wrote Mr. Paradox himself.
Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's like the known thing,
Yeah, Nick Senzel, 4 for 4. He's been sensational.
Nick Senzel, yeah.
Get it? Sensational.
Sensational.
Sensational. No, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But back to Gray. He had 11 strikeouts.
That's really
in 5.2 innings pitched. So that is pretty darn good. Kershaw.
Only 4 hits, no runs, 8 Ks.
That's Kershaw.
That's pretty good.
7 innings pitch also. You like to see the longevity from him.
Yeah. So overall,
because a lot of times he runs the pitch count up.
Yeah.
And Turner, surprise, he's like the only guy on the Dodgers that can hit right now, except for Chris Taylor. He's been hitting well. And
yeah,
I guess Noisy, you could say, he's been hitting pretty well.
Eh.
He had a solo home run, Turner. And they had a 6-run 8th inning. So now we're at the segment we like to call the highs and the lows, where we recap the highs from the week and the lows from the week.
Highs and lows of this week, more lows than highs. Number 1 was Edwin Rios.
Edwin Rios.
Yes, I said that.
Edwin Rios. What is with him? He was good.
He's been struggling.
He had a historical OPS or like home runs per plate appearances or something before this year.
He was playing amazingly, and then decided to struggle offensively and defensively, as you say.
Right, so the Dodgers opened this year against the Rockies. Then they went to Oakland. He had a home run in the Oakland series. At least since then, he hasn't gotten a
hit.
Yeah, like 1 hit.
Yeah.
He's like 1 for his last a lot. And that amounts to a .093 batting average this year.
That's baseball for you, You get it.
And and it was even like translating defensively into the field because I don't know. There's like he was playing first base. I forget who he was against. Might have been against the Mariners. I don't remember. No, it was against the Padres. And it pop up into foul territory, and he just screwed it up. Really
dropped it.
Yeah, but he wasn't like. He didn't like hit his glove, and he just missed it.
Whatever.
I mean, big league pop ups. They're hard to field, but
He needs maybe some time getting the cages, trying to get his swing back.
Or if they send him down, it's not great, but like they sent down Matt Beatty earlier this year, and since then he's been hitting well, Beatty, and he said like it really helped him.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to just have a better perspective on something.
Yeah.
Get your groove in. Get a lot of reps.
Yeah, so let's go to the Dodgers' issues hitting with runners in scoring position.
Okay.
Because stop that noise. Because it's a problem. They're 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup. In other words, Betts, Seager, Turner, you'd be surprised is on this list, but he's having a very good year. But it's pretty much with no runners on when he's hitting well. And Muncy, who hits 4th, they are really bad with runners in scoring position, as opposed to the middle and bottom half of the lineup.
Hey, let's be realistic. Last 7 days with runners.
The last 7 days.
Yeah.
But consider, like, against the Padres on Sunday, they left the bases loaded 3 times. And, like, Betts, in the last 7 days, he's hitting 188, 6 for 32 with runners in scoring position. Seager, 214, 6 for 28 with runners in scoring position. You got Turner, who's having a good year. He's hitting like 340 something on the year. But with runners in scoring position,
217.
he's hitting 217.
Muncy, the worst of them all.
Muncy is really
one
surprising.
Just one hit for
because Muncy walks a lot. But he hasn't been getting hits. So credit to him, he's getting on base, right? But he's not hitting the ball.
He's disciplined at bat. He's good pitch recognition, just not been able to put it in play.
Also, walks don't help if you have a guy on second and you need to score him.
Yeah,
he's 1 for 18 in his last 7 days. That's a .56.
It does not help for these Dodgers who can't really get men home. So they're really relying on the home run to try to give them some wins.
Right. That's why it was encouraging. It was encouraging. The day game Wednesday. That they scored 6 in the 8th, and it wasn't off home runs. They were
maybe we just need some more day games.
Ducks on the pond. It's runners on base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also obvious woes. The bullpen, the low end of the bullpen, those guys.
Kenley Jansen is like a prime example.
Dennis Santana, Jimmy Nelson.
Yep. Bruce Dargirl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Who else do they have?
Price is injured. But
David Price.
Yeah.
Also struggling lately.
Can I just add this into the lows of the Dodgers hurt or injured list coming into the Padres series was Bellinger, Gonsolin, Lux, Knebel, McKinstry, Taylor, Kelly, Santana, Ferguson, and Conley.
Tommy Conley. They got him from the Yankees. That was a really good pickup. I think he's recovering from Tommy John surgery.
Yeah. I guess, Tommy.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, you see 1 through 4 in the lineup really struggling with runners in scoring position. And just adding another bat like Bellinger, who gets his hot streaks or gets his MVP streaks. Or even not, but just putting balls into play. He's a hard out also because he's very fast. So just getting him into the lineup would be helpful, Yeah, and Lux came back. He had a hit. He had an RBI the other night.
Yeah, but
he's also struggling.
He's not been looking so good.
Right.
Knebel will be a very big addition when he comes back. Kelly, maybe.
Right, poor Knebel. He pulled something.
I don't know.
He's out for a couple months.
It's not good.
And,
Yep. So now
couple
some highs.
positives.
Yeah, some highs.
Couple positives.
Let's be optimistic for 1 week.
Optimist. No.
AJ Pollock is heating up.
Yeah.
He's got 5 for 16, 312 batting average, which is 400 runners in scoring position, which thankfully someone in the Dodgers.
Clap for AJ Pollock.
Yeah, exactly. And someone knows how to hit with runners in scoring position.
Yep.
So I haven't really seen him being pinch hit in any situations lately, which is not good. So maybe they should think about it.
Well, AJ Pollock pinch hit on Wednesday. Got a hit.
Yeah.
RBI. That was his last 5 games. He's been good. He had an 0 for 4 game, but we don't judge that.
Yeah, it's okay. Everyone has
the other games he was getting hits.
Everyone has an 0 for good.
Right. And, Matt Beatty.
Matt Beatty, yeah. Also 3 for 5. Another with runners in scoring position, which is what we need.
And not just Matt Beatty, by the way, with runners in scoring position. It's pretty much 5, 6, 7, 8 in their lineup. I don't like this pitcher's hitting stuff.
Yeah.
And Chris Taylor's hitting 400 runners in scoring position. By the way, this is just the Padres and Reds series, so this isn't including the Brewers series, even though this will come out on Friday. So they will have lost to the Brewers already on Thursday.
Yeah. So
they will have lost.
A little bit of like predicting of a future kind of.
Right.
Another positive about the week was the week's over, so we could finally start fresh and get rid of this nightmare behind us and
start off with a loss to the Brewers.
Act like we're actually World Series champions.
Round baseball, just news. This is, after all, a baseball podcast, not just Dodgers. So before the A's lost, they had a winning streak, and 13 games.
Yeah,
That's the second most, I believe, since the Indians
20.
set the record in 22, I think,
Yeah.
when they beat the other A's record, the Billy Bean A's record.
Yeah, the crazy thing about the A's they were 1-7. They were abjectly terrible to start off the season, and they got a 13-game winning
And
streak.
they won 13 straight.
That's why I love baseball. You know, everything changes, and day in day out, everything can change.
And that is why Dodger fans, or if you're not a Dodger fan, but if you are a Dodger fan, you should keep your head up.
Be optimistic always. Baseball always
Because
turns
you could
itself
suck,
around.
and they'll still win over
Right,
105
exactly.
games.
We'll always be better than the Padres. Don't worry about it.
Right, so, we got the big masher himself. Can you guess who we're talking about?
Vlad Guerrero Jr.?
No,
Oh.
Albert Pujols.
Oh, well.
Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols.
What a guy. You know,
Can't believe he's still playing.
can't believe he did steal third base this year.
He stole off the base?
Yes.
From what?
What?
The catcher got
I don't think the catcher threw it.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't think so.
But he does have 4 season home runs to an Angel team who has Mr. Shohei himself.
Finally have started showing a lot of potential.
Yeah, they broke 500.
Giving Mike Trout a chance to be happy about.
Mike Trout, that dude is good.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of stupid.
He's
to say.
hitting like 450.
That's like one of the biggest.
went 4 for
that's
4
one of like
the
the
other
biggest cliches in life. That Mike Trout's good at baseball.
And the guys on the Angels, he just doesn't get marketed.
Yeah, exactly. But like Shohei Ohtani, he's very
8 home runs, I think.
really.
Yeah,
I mean,
tied for the league lead.
He's
as
really
of
good.
Wednesday.
He's really disciplined at the plate. He's good at just good energy.
Pretty good pitcher.
Finally, he's healthy, which we're not. This is not a Angels podcast, but
Right.
we could still like appreciate the
Yeah.
other LA team, the Angels. So I like them. I like Mike Trout. I want to see them.
Mike Trout is so likable.
Yeah,
but
what's not to like?
Shohei Ohtani, it's interesting because he makes hitting seem a lot easier than pitching, and you would think it's not. Like if you know how to pitch, it shouldn't be easier.
Yeah, I mean,
it should be easier than hitting.
Well, hitting is 3 out of 10 is considered very good, and pitching, you got to be on your game. Well, let's say 4 balls is a strike already, so you got to be good around like 50% of the time.
Right.
So it's kind of
it's more that he just makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And the other team hits it. I mean, you got Vlad Jr., the other masher, big masher. 3 home runs and 7 RBIs that night. He homered off Max Scherzer. Fun fact. I don't know if you know this, but
Probably don't.
his dad homered off Max Scherzer. And there's another pitcher in the league who Vlad Guerrero Sr. and Jr. both homered off. You probably won't guess it.
What does the name start with?
It starts with an I. That actually might give it away.
I don't know.
Ivan Nova.
I did not know
He's
that.
an old dude. Yeah, so Vlad Jr.
Well, that's how you know you're old.
Ivan, Russian name. Vlad, Russian name.
Well, that's how you know you're old if you're...
Coincidence? Maybe not. Maybe the Russian spies.
Yeah.
You never know.
You know, Putin, don't, if you're listening to this, I'm happy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, if Putin's listening to this, good publicity.
All right.
Yeah.
Jacob DeGrom.
DeBron.
DeGrom.
DeBron.
The bomb.
DeGrom.
Yep.
The
DeGrom.
bomb.
He is.
He's quite good.
Good.
He's really good.
He's pretty good at like.
But the Mets, at a certain point, the Mets' run support for him is just like
not there.
no, it's just always been out there. At a certain point, you gotta like look at his win-loss record, because not as a reflection of the way he pitches, but just it's crazy how bad, like how much run support they give him.
Yeah, it's
they
like
lost 1-0 the other game. He had 9 strikeouts in 6 innings, and gave up 1 run on 3 hits. That moved his ERA, season ERA, to .51. But they lost 1-0.
Right.
Good job, Mets.
It's like DeGrom and the Mets. It's like
you're screwing up his
It's
career.
like Trout and the Angels. Like you give like these amazing players, they don't have a chance to win ever like, in a World Series.
The good news is, DeGrom pitching and not getting run support and getting these losses. He's 2-2 in the year now. It's bringing light to the fact that wins and losses don't really matter. It's a dumb stat.
I mean, it's dumb. Obviously, it's relevant for your team, but it's not for the pitcher himself.
Right,
it's
of course
obviously a dumb
not.
stat.
So it shouldn't
right, of
change the way people see DeGrom or anything.
course. I'm sure everyone thinks he's good.
Right.
I don't think anyone's ever heard of him. I don't think I've ever came across someone who thought that he was bad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. What else is new in MLB?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know.
Is that it?
I don't know. Well, interesting. Back to the Dodgers. Somehow find our way back to the Dodgers.
Well, it is.
Seager's been he has 4 home runs this year, I believe. 3 of them have been off lefties. So
Interesting.
go figure.
Well.
It's like Yasiel Puig, who's lefty-righty splits. He hit worse off lefties than righties. It's like no players ever do that.
Kike Hernandez was like righty specialist, I think. Or maybe the opposite.
No, he was a lefty
He was
specialist.
opposite. I don't know. Someone
Flashback to Kike Hernandez with that home run in Game 7.
I remember that.
To tie the game.
When? Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And then Bellinger.
Yeah.
Bellinger.
Okay, stop reminiscing.
Every time I
about the
play that
past.
Bellinger highlight, I get chills.
I do too. Also, whenever I watched the
'Cause Joe Davis
2017,
announced.
whenever I watched the 2017 highlights, I got really angry
Mm-hmm.
at the.
Well, my ears start hurting because like, there's a scientific thing.
And when you get
If
mad.
you hear banging in your ears a lot, then it ruins your hearing and the way you look at a team. Okay, so that does it for Around Baseball for this week. If there's anything else around baseball, you could tweet us.
Yeah.
We do have a Twitter account at blue_Bleedin.
Right.
Because there were Bleedin' Blues taken.
Uh-huh.
But you could tweet us out there.
Blue
Any
Bleedin'.
suggestions for the podcast? And
Anything you like, anything you hate. I mean, like if you hate
If you're
Phil's
listening.
if you hate Phil's voice, just like let us know.
I can
Right.
change it.
We could always like get
No,
a
I
new
can't.
person. I know. I mean, I could.
Yeah, well, we sometimes we'll be joined by Alex. I think he's going to stop in.
Yeah, we'll have some
Not
guest
this
stars
time.
next week if you guys like that.
Guest stars.
Guest stars.
Other guys in our high school.
Shh.
Don't tell them.
Don't surprise them.
Yeah,
Don't
we're
really
having like
surprise.
we're having Ken Rosenthal on.
Buster Only will come.
Yeah,
up,
Buster
you know?
Only.
We'll be
Tim
on-
Kurjikin.
Also, if you guys watch Sunday Night Baseball, we'll make an appearance then. And
Right.
we'll discuss like the game by halftime, Thursday halftime.
Right. Sunday Night Baseball will probably be
Yeah,
like
so-
Mets, like Cardinals, Cubs,
They
or
always
like
have the Cardinals. I don't
Yankees,
know.
Red
Why
Sox.
they
They always have the Yankees and the Red
Always
Sox.
have the Cardinals. No, it's always the Cardinals.
I don't know. So, thanks for listening. That's going to do it for this week on your Bleedin' Blue podcast. We just said, but I'm going to say it again. You can check us out on Twitter at blue_Bleedin. You can check us out on any podcast listening platform. I don't know how you say that you listen to, which you're probably listening to now if you're listening, because you're probably not listening because we're not out there. But this is
but
our
if
first
you are-
week. So
Yeah.
you could say you were a listener from week 1. Isn't that right, Dave?
Exactly.
Yes. So yeah, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week.
Great to have you guys listening to us. Please come back next week.
Hopefully the Dodgers can beat the Brewers.
Yeah.
Have a good week.
Hopefully we'll have a lot of highs to talk about next week.
And hopefully Mookie Betts.
Hopefully everyone.
Mookie Betts.
Hopefully everyone becomes better, and they get a good week, good streak coming out.
Okay, my producer in my ear is actually telling us we gotta go.
All right.
Okay, so see y'all.
See y'all next.